Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks here for your weekly market update. I am recording this early, kind of Wednesday afternoon time frame, just because I'm not going to have availability tomorrow to do it. So you will be listening to this on Thursday morning. So it's a little preempted, like I usually am. That's probably going to be a pattern going forward, just because of the way my calendar is shaping up these days. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button, share it with a friend, leave a comment. All those things help the algorithm. All the help goes directly to the channel. We make no money off of this ourselves. We just do it because we enjoy the hobby space, and we've been having fun with it. We're getting close to a year now that we've been doing this. Market update's not quite so long, but I think our first one was in October or September, maybe time frame was the first time we started the channel. So we'll have to do something to celebrate there. Anyways, let's jump into the numbers and take a look at what's happening in the market. It's a little bit quieter today, a little bit of chaos, but nothing too unusual. Let's see. So the big one under unlimited boxes, nothing's really moved. Mon moved up a little bit, couple bucks. 3.4%. In the cases, WTR Unlimited has jumped up 19.75%. I think we talked about that last week, where there'd be a dip and then a recovery. Note that it is lower than the previous high, but still higher than the standard before. I'm wondering if we're starting to see that thing I was predicting. Volatility sets in, and then you get a new floor slash ceiling, depending on where it all ends up. We shall see in the coming weeks. At this point, I think it's way too early to say anything. This could just be a simple major distributor dump. It could be any number of things, especially with WTR Unlimited. We have seen that the amount in the marketplace is quite available, right? There's a lot of it out there, so I'm not expecting it to follow the way of ARC in this 100 and 400 range anytime soon, just based on what we're seeing in sales and prices. Seems to be plenty out there. Mon dropped 15%, which is interesting. So we did have some moves down. So first, let's go back and review. So we had a cooling off that dropped really low after a previous increase. So we got up, down, up, which was a little higher than its previous. And then we're talking down drift, a little bit higher, but still lower than the big spike, right? Down drift and a real dip. So this is a classic market pressure downward and then final capitulation. Now, the real question is, does this capitulation continue for another week, or are we going to see a reversion to the mean, the rubber band effect that Rudy likes to talk about, where we get a red spike next week of, say, 10%, right? Won't go back to where it was, but pushing back up. Either way, Mon is clearly well in the market, established in the unlimited product in particular. I think this is probably a lot of pressure, probably coming from the high-end side, the first edition, because first edition has been exceedingly affordable for quite some time. That is inevitably going to put up downward pressure on the unlimited product, because you can do the same thing for a little bit more, double the price, I suppose, and get the cold foils, which go for a lot more than the rainbow foils in here. So it just makes sense. It's all market dynamics, nothing unusual there, but curious what we'll see here, because it's downward pressure and final capitulation. Sometimes you get some really cool market dynamics, some volatility that can be taken advantage of. All right, moving on to first edition. Interesting stuff happening here. We did see WTR drop down to 2,900. One of the things I wanted to point out today is I was looking at best selling, and for some reason, TCG Player's best selling page bugged out on me. It was really weird. There's all these other things at the top of the best-selling page. I was like, what's going on? It's changing the meta. Something crazy's happening, because all the best-selling stuff is totally different. Like I Have a Video was up there and all this other stuff, which, by the way, there have been some sales of I Have a Video recently. Keep an eye on that one. Something's happening there. I saw like 5 in one day. That's not normal. Anyways, it actually wasn't. When I refreshed the page, it went back to our usual characters, which we'll go through in a second. But one of the things that drew my attention while it was in that bugged out state was that Welcome to Wrath first edition booster packs are selling at a fairly reasonable clip for around $135. At this price, a booster box going for $2,900 means that you're making $10 to $15 per pack, which is definitely enough to ship them. Now, with a price of $135, would you want to Add some cost for insurance, probably. But the way TCG Player goes, you can still list them for $135, and then add a fee for that kind of insurance to cover it in case it gets lost in the mail. Point being that buying a box, cracking it, and selling packs is currently profitable at about $10 to $15 a pack. Kind of ignoring shipping and all the rest, which you can push forward to your customers theoretically. Again, nothing works perfectly, and obviously this will be corrected as things go. The prices will move up to match or whatever, right? That's just how it always happens. But thought it was interesting little factor that came out of a bug in TCG Player's interface. By the way, they got bought, if you didn't know, by eBay. Right after acquiring Channel Fireball. So that's consolidation in the marketplace and monopoly power. It'll be a while before we see any painful effects of that. We'll probably see good stuff in the beginning to make it like a celebration of the acquisition, but in the long term, expect higher fees on all the things. That's just what happens. I brought this up in our Discord. It was our Discord before anyone else really talked about it that I heard on the public space. So it's a thing in M&A. I'm not an expert in M&A, but it is our exit for our fund, so we deal with it a lot. We don't manufacture or deal with the transactions directly. We receive benefit of it, so we're downstream from them, or I guess upstream technically before them. And so I do have some experience with M&A, and this is how it goes: consolidation, optimization, making the company run more efficiently, and then increase fees with the increased market position. That is standard. Moving on. Tales of Aria first edition box, $78, 2 weeks in a row, heating up. It's not bad. I'm not sure what's causing this. This one's always been weird, hasn't it? We've talked about how often it's volatile. It really is. It's volatile more often than it's not, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Since release. With only the exception of the first few months. It's going up again. That's all I got there. Maybe leave a comment if you know why. Everfest. Actually, maybe this has to do with Icelander being popular. Here she's doing pretty well out there, getting some cool tech, or Lexi as well is probably popular too. But other than that, I don't really know. I'm not sure. I've seen a lot more Icelanders out in the competitive space though, which surprised me when I saw that. Anyways, Everfest dropped 6.5% down to $61. Some more volatility. We expect that with Everfest. It's still in that new territory. I think, and I believe this was when it dropped off the map right here. That's when the volatility really kicked up. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Not too worried about it. There's plenty of product on the market. Don't expect this to be $100 a box anytime soon. In fact, you probably have a better, if you were going to bet, if I was a betting man, which you know I am, I would bet that this hits $50 before it hits, let's make it a fair bet, right? Drops by $11 before it goes up by $11, right? Before it goes to 72, I would bet that it goes to 50. So chances are this goes down before up, but we don't know. There's a lot of factors in play, and you never know, it could spike. I would say something for you to know. None of this is financial advice. I'm a guy with a spreadsheet talking about cardboard markets. Who would listen to a dude like that? Hopefully not you. Go get a professional if you need financial advice. That's not what this channel is about. It's about entertainment and observing data, historic data at that. Historic data that's based on non-sales but public pricing. So that's even worse of a analysis scenario. So just so you know, that's how it works. And, take it with the grain of salt it deserves, which is to say we're just looking at the past, seeing what happens, and seeing if we can come up with ideas about what maybe I want to do for my own personal financial decisions, not yours, not anyone else's. Anyways, moving on to the first edition cases. WTR, boring, does nothing. It's fine. I guess it did technically do something way back here, but not much. Sitting flat. Totally fine. Salty Whale is now the premier price. Actually didn't check. Maybe we'll check it in a second. If this sold or if it disappeared or if we even know. I believe we won't know. I think it will be grayed out because typically they don't show if there's no volume on something. The sales history, they just block it out. They put a little gray over it specifically to keep people from manipulating the market, right? But anyways, up back to Salty Whale pricing of 8,000, increase of 6.26%. Seems to be we're settling in this range for these boxes, at least on TCG Player, which I do not take as much data at all, because TCG Player is not where these transactions are happening. Like I said, I have seen transactions happen on Discord, on Facebook, etc. So I'm not expecting this to show anything close to real or accurate data. So keep that in mind when you're considering how much a first edition case of Arcane Rising is worth. The one transaction that comes to mind was around 9,400, 200, something like that, on Facebook. I think it was Facebook, yeah. Not that long ago, maybe a month. So a little bit of time, right? So things change with time. But just so you know, that was the last one I saw that was an actual transaction that went through. Tales of Aria down 14%. This is first edition product. $300. That's super cheap. 14% drop. Good time to buy, typically, not financial advice. And it is a drop on top of a drop on top of a drop. So we drop back here to 340, down from 367, and these had been a little decay for a while, right? Oh, this shouldn't be bolded twice. That was not a bold. So drop down to 340. 353, so it hopped back up, but not enough to warrant a heat map. Back down to its mean, I guess we'll call it at 340, which is, a little bit above, so it was upward trending. Now we're dropping all the way down, $42 to 300. That's a pretty significant drop. If you were looking to buy or stock up, this might be a good time. 14% down, ain't too bad. Less than $100 a box, obviously, even though first edition product. You could also wait. 250 is definitely viable. We've seen it in other products, and Tales of Aria is anything if not plentiful, right? Everfest, up 10%. That's neat. Not sure why. Anyone know? 10% increase? Yeah, it's like $25. I guess it's just market volatility. Nothing special there. But we are up at 250, kind of back to where it was normalized for a while. I guess it was more in the 70s, but 250 seemed to be where it was only for 1 week and it crashed. So this is really just reversion to the mean. If you consider this 70 to 80 range, kind of the long-term line, dropped down, dropped hard, right? Stayed down, coming back up, but probably won't reach this 274 point because we're early in the market cycle, so we should expect a downward pressure on the market before final capitulation. So this is probably like early capitulation of the pricing, dumping for uprising sort of things, or maybe for other products. Now we're seeing it kind of went too low. The market's reacting to that. That's pretty standard. All right, so moving on quickly. So I did want to show you the best selling of the boxes because we don't really talk about this that much. I usually just go through the cards, which I think is more interesting. But here is the boxes. I'm going to refresh it because I have had UI issues here. Okay, stayed the same. Good. So as you can see, best selling is Uprising. Duh, makes sense. In a case of Uprising for 310, good deal if you've been waiting to get a good deal on it. So a lot of people are doing that, and then which is I believe that's below map. I mean, I'm not sure on that. Someone correct me in the comments if you're wrong. Obviously, the single box is also really low, and then Everfest being super low at first edition cases, it's going very well. Interestingly, ARC first edition boxes at $14.50. I've been talking about how these prices are spicy for a while, and sure enough, I'm not the only one that believes it. There's only 16 listings left, and they have been selling at this price. That's why it's one of the best selling. Monarch first edition also moving at $100 approximately. Lots of listings though, so don't look to make free tendies on this for a while. This one, maybe you will, maybe you won't. Not financial advice, but $14.50 seems like a fairly good price for first edition of Arcane Rising with limited listings left. Obviously, these listings can be deceitful, so don't take too much stock in how many are left. The Dragons is a classic example of there's only a few left. I bought them all, and then suddenly there was like 40 listed, right? So it is something to take into account that the listing number is not always a good indicator of the market depth. Moving on, I don't talk about this much, but I thought I'd bring it up. History packs, they're worth $100 or less than $100 each if you buy it in the case, so you're getting a bulk discount. This is operating like a non-collectible product. I wonder why. Oh yeah, because they said it's not a collectible product. So this is one of the reasons I don't feature it or talk about it. Bulk discount is standard in a non-collectible space. The fact that you get the gambler's premium on bulk in other products indicates the gambler's fallacy or the gambler's premium that comes with the fact that there is a collectible or chance at a high value item in them. Oh geez, they messed up. Oh no, I just scrolled. These obviously, no, it did mess up. Where'd it go? Oh, it is. Yeah, something moved. Something went up. Everfest maybe first. Yeah, that's what it is. It's funny that fast it changes. Anyways, so 389 less than 100 bulk discount if you buy it in the case. I'm not doing it. It's not a collectible item. They're going to reprint them a million times as much as people need it for the market to do what needs to be done. I'm sure they'll come out with this second one, and then you won't be able to get this one, but I'm still not going to do it. The cards will be the same as what's in the second one to some degree. Or maybe not, because I guess they're doing it by set. Point being is they promised they could print these white borders as many times as they need to keep the market. If we get 1 million new Fab players tomorrow and they need these cards out there, they will print more. Even if we're on History Pack 3, they can bring one back specifically as stated in their own marketing material. So, thought that was interesting. Thought I would share that with you. Let's get rid of this and go to the cards. All right. Pretty much the same stuff as always, right? Nothing very interesting here. Note Command & Conquer did jump back up. I did buy 3. I was not the only one that bought them in that 60 range. Oh man, someone paid $159. Why would they do that? Oh, it was a rainbow foil. I was like, why would you do that? That was crazy. So we were down in these 60s. I bought a few in this range. We were there, I guess, less time than I thought. It's kind of from the 17th on, with a few exceptions. And then it popped back up around the 22nd. So that's just how it is. You gotta take that with a grain of salt. Normal edition dropping. Yeah, according to the charts, that's how it goes. Oh, I'm sorry, you couldn't see that chart. Here. See how it dropped? It did its little U-turn there, and that's just what happens. That's this market. Everything else is pretty similar. We are seeing Crown start to decline more rapidly. I'll be looking for the little check mark that I always talk about. Oops, sorry. Check mark that I always talk about. But we're over the hump, and we should see continual decline for the next months. Like I said, optimal time will probably be a couple weeks past release of the next product called Dynasty. And I think that's set for November. I'm not sure if we have an official date, but it's coming up soon. We should have some info from Flesh and Blood, from LSS. At the end of the month, they said. End of August, we would get some teaser stuff. I'm hoping it's like the Icelander teaser that came out with the last set. Because that was really cool. I really liked it. It was a perfect amount of hype at the perfect time. It wasn't everything, but it allowed us to speculate and think about things. If they do it again, they're crushing it. I'm totally happy with it. I know some people are like, it's too early. I don't want releases always. It's been a while since they had any information. People, relax. Let them pump their stuff a bit, I find it interesting Library of Solana's up, considering Prism's Living Legending and all that. Same with the boots are still in this best-selling category. I guess shelf stuff for people that are just like nostalgic already about their favorite Prism leaving the market. I don't really know. I don't get it. But it's definitely they're moving. They're moving more than most things. Let's see what the eye or the blood of Drakai is doing. Yeah, flat as a rock. This thing has been rock solid the whole time in the cold foil. Damn it. Sorry, I keep cutting that off. Rock solid. 308. Its low was like 301. It's been $300 and something forever. The rainbow foil's dropping off, but that's a little frustrating because I do want one of those. I don't think I want to pay $300 for it. This is a sign that 2.0 is working because this Fable, it's the rare thing, it's the high end, it's also in cold foil. It seems to be harder to get than most things, and it's holding up way higher than every other Fable has in the past. I think every other one has dropped to the 200 range at some point in its life cycle. I could be wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure that's true. I could be wrong. Maybe Library never did because of the hype bubble that was happening. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's true for all of them. I could be wrong on that, but close to it. Point being, it's holding rock steady. There was no volatility. It's been 300 the whole time. I will be interested to see what the price is of that 2 or 3 weeks after the release of Dynasty, because that should be peak boredom with it, right? But I may miss out on that one if it stays at 300. Everything else is kind of where we saw it before. So that's it. Let's go ahead and move on to the charts. All right, get to the charts. What do we got? WTR, this is Unlimited Edition. We saw the volatility reversion to the mean. It does look like there's an upward pattern happening here, so maybe we are getting to the point where it's looking for a new price floor. I don't see it yet. I think there's plenty of product in the market, but these volatility spikes do tend to indicate that supply or demand are changing in some way that is dramatic enough to cause these variations in pricing. Meanwhile, casing is sitting flat as can be. Boxes are sitting flat as can be. This is the casing divided by 4. So boxes seem to be plentifully available. Maybe the cases are running out. That is a possibility. Sealed cases being, harder to come by for some reason. That's possible. ARC Unlimited, look at that. It looks like a new plateau. We might be at the new floor. It will probably get some more volatility out here in a few weeks, basically trying to test the floor to see if it will hold, and if the market absorbs the product as its price is reduced, then that will end up being the new floor. It's very likely that okay, so in normal price action under different things that are definitely more liquid than cardboard boxes, you would often see that floor test happen at the previous peak. So it would be at 369 would be the test. If it gets down to that price and recovers quickly, then we would call that a new floor, or the floor being tested, and then that would kind of be the baseline for anything going forward, with it likely settling in a mid-range above, right? With this probably being, again, price action on normal liquid items, this would normally be the new ceiling, and the new floor would be a minimum here, and it would pretty much tighten up between those two going forward. That's normal price action. Cardboard's very different. It has different supply and demand issues than normal liquid markets, so fully expect it to not behave like that, but something similar. So we'll see a plateau, a new step on the ladder here, or the stairs as they like to call it. And then from there, we'll see what happens. Moving on to boxes. Yep, it's kind of following the same pattern, same volatility, new ceiling, new floor, etc. Nothing special, just what we expect. Like it when that happens. Crew, dropping off. This is for unlimited edition, so nothing too crazy there. Case prices dropping off, probably just final hurrah. Actually kind of a little surprised because Crew Unlimited was kind of quote unquote overprinted, or there's plenty of the product. Obviously not as much as ARC, or maybe there is actually based on the price action with ARC. ARC has gone up. This has not. Interesting. I'm sure we have a print run number out there. Tell me what it is in the comments because I've forgotten at this point. Unlimited is definitely not where I focus my time and attention. That said, we do have a $9 arbitrage opportunity. You buy a case, you split it open, and then you sell each box, $9 a box. Gain on that one, and that would be lovely if $9 a box covered shipping and taxes. It doesn't, so not that big of a deal. Monarch, falling off the cliff. Yeah, we talked about this when we were looking through the price action. Just falling off a cliff. Does give a $9 arbitrage opportunity, but as we just said, not really that useful. Some people can make money on it. In scale, anything in scale, even small amounts of money in scale is a lot of money, tends to be. Go watch Rudy's videos. He talks about it a lot, and he is dead on with all that. The economy, or economics at scale, are just massively powerful, and he is not wrong. Not at all. All right, first edition. Actually, I think that conversation was what made me say, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. I think when I watched one of those videos where he's talking about that, the power of scale when it comes to capital, and I was like, oh, okay, he has some insight. Like, he actually knows what's going on. Nothing in WTR as usual. ARC, we talked about this salty whale tricks and whatever the heck is happening here. Nothing major. I mean, I imagine we're going to continue to bounce in these ranges for a while, because it's not a real market, right? No one's selling, no one's actually buying. So it's all kind of falsified data. So not really worth spending time on. Let's go ahead and move forward. Crew. So got some drop off here. Sitting down at these nice little 1779 prices. That's an interesting number, isn't it? Anyone know what that number is? Tell me in the comments if you know what 1779 is. Anyways, going down to here and seeing that our margin here has died. So there is no premium on cases currently. Obviously, volatility will change that in no time. Monarch. Yep, bouncing along the floor here. A little bouncy ball. Blink. Painful on the. We do have a bit of a premium, or not a premium, arbitrage opportunity, but it's $2. Not worth it. But yeah, bouncing ball, trying to find its floor. That is pretty normal price action for something that has no confidence left. Typically, just so you know, the bouncy ball bounces and then falls off a cliff. That is a very normal price action for a liquid market. So I would not be surprised if Monarch went down further. So we're at Tales of Aria. This one's still crazy. Like we saw, bouncy ball fell off a cliff, and now we have a $4 arbitrage opportunity. Again, none of this is crazy. I think this is mostly summer price activity where no one cares. They're busy on vacations, other things. Right before school starts, we will get a buying season in the fall. I know there are some people out there that say that doesn't exist, but it exists in literally every retail product, and if you don't believe it, go look at the data. It does. I can't imagine that for some reason cardboard is especially excluded from the economy of people going on vacation and then spending for Christmas or holidays, right? So Everfest, we're seeing a climb here, a dip here, a little bit of interesting arbitrage. I'll see how that goes going forward. Again, plenty of supply. Look for volatility for the next few months. And then we have the artificial floor and uprising. So that is it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, leave a comment below, hit the like button, subscribe, and until next time, have a good one.